Hey everybody, it's Christine Lease here today. I am on a roll. I'm coming to you guys every single day. It's been kind of fun, but I thought, you know what? I absolutely love throwing my food together in the middle of the day. I'm blessed that I'm able to be home like that, but why not share with you guys what I'm doing and just some quick videos on that. So here we are right now, and I actually was on a mission to make some chicken today. I actually have one chicken that's in the oven that the kids are gonna have for dinner tonight, and then I use my handy dandy Instapot for the other chicken. Okay, if you guys don't have one of these, I'm going to show you the wonderful benefits here in just a really quick second. So it's going to be a little bit of an infomercial for the Instapot, but you can also do what I'm going to show you guys in the crock pot as well. So number one, I actually just took a whole chicken and cooked it in here, and you know what? It only took 30 minutes. And I could have done it in less time, but actually, yeah, it only took 30 minutes by the time. It's what the Instapot is a pressure cooker. That's all it is. It just cooks it a little bit faster. Okay, so put it in here. I put I put garlic in here. I put carrots in here, celery and onion. Season this super well. Put some fresh thyme in there. All this greatness, and just put it in the pot. Covered it up. Cooked it. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the chicken apart, which I guess I should have done some of that before. I'm going to take the chicken apart and use the bones and put the bones in here, and I'm going to use the chicken for either salads through the week, wraps for the kids, school lunches, dinner on the fly, all that kind of stuff. Okay. So I'm going to show you guys a really quick technique. And I learned a lot of this, you guys, just from following different bloggers, finding what seasonings I liked, and the tips and tricks that I've learned on how to make your own bone broth. I'm going to tell you as I peel this, bone broth is very different than bone stock or bone broth. Very different. The stuff you see at the store is not going to be the same and taste the same as that. So all I'm doing is peeling this off. You're leaving some cartilage on there, fat, it's all good, okay? So bones broth is going to be using all the bones, the cartilage, and slow cooking it. Well, we're going to cook it a little bit faster in here, but slow cooking that, pulling all the nutrients out of the bones and joints and tissues, okay? There is some really great reasons to use homemade bone broth. I cannot even tell you the many benefits. If people have gut issues, it's so healing. Whenever my kids are sick, I always make sure I have some of this. Whenever my kid's sick, that's the first thing we start feeding them, some bone broth. Just lots of healing properties, okay? Plus, it just tastes so good. So much amazing. And if we're going to eat stuff, you might as well allow it to be delicious, right? So the basics of this is pull this off. We're doing two things at once. We're making bone broth and we're having chicken that we can use for meals. It's all about taking the time to just invest a little bit of time, and you're going to have multiple meal options here, okay? You could certainly just eat this chicken too if you wanted to. Just pull it out of the Instapot. If you're working that day, you can put it in the Instapot literally when you get home. Literally when you get home from work, and you can have a chicken in like 40 minutes, if even that, to be really honest. So I'm just, again, like I said, I'm just pulling this apart, and I'm going to just kind of halfway do this because I just want to show you guys. It doesn't take that much time, but I want to be able to keep this somewhat brief and just show you the basics of it. All right, so that's all I'm doing is stripping this apart. I will say one thing I want to make sure you guys know. Make sure, this is so gross, and I know some of you are really grossed out by holding a chicken and a chicken carcass. I get it. But you got to kind of move past it and just realize it's just a carcass. It's okay. So anyway, you want to take all of the bone, the rib cage, everything but meat is going in here. Okay? Really important. If you have the neck even, put that sucker in there. All the nutrients. That's where a lot of that stuff is. So really good. Second thing, I had already cooked this with some garlic, but I love garlic. I love its healing properties. Garlic is so insanely good for you. Like, so good for you. And when it's cooked like this, it actually has quite a mild flavor. It's not like you're sauteing it and putting it in a dish and having it be spicy. It's not at all. It just gives it such great flavor. All right. So that's definitely one thing that I always make sure to get put in is extra garlic, and you know, on top of whatever you cooked. Now, notice I haven't drained this. I have not strained this. I have not done anything. I am just using the juices from the chicken and keeping it in here. Okay, and we're gonna do straining and stuff a little bit later after it's done cooking. So again, throwing that garlic in. Here's the fun part, you guys, is actually just throwing in the vegetables that you might have. Now, remember, I already have carrots, celery, and onions in here. All right, that's the basics. But I have some green beans that are just kind of getting a little long in the tooth, as my mother used to say, and my grandmother used to say, a little long in the tooth, meaning they're going to be done really soon. So I figured I'll just put them in here. Green beans, why not? You got spinach, kale, throw it in. I actually have the ends of some beets, because I made beets the other day, so I'm just going to throw that in. You guys, this is just really, just throw it in. They're going to get all the nutrients from it, and it is awesome. I'm seeing Liz. Oh yeah, that's right. I did bring Liz when she was sick. I brought her some bone broth, and it's very, very flavorful, I gotta say, just in general. I put a couple bay leaves in. Again, it just gives it such great flavor. One big tip. This is a really big tip. My hands are all dirty, but that's okay. You're gonna want to put some vinegar in, white vinegar, in this, because what that does is it helps to pull out the nutrients from the bones and the cartilage. All right, so that's a really big key. You don't need much. I would say like a tablespoon, about that. Okay, I'm totally hodgepodging here, and that's okay. You also want to make sure you have filtered water, guys. So whether you have a water thing in your fridge, whatever the case may be, you want to make sure you have filtered water. You also want to do more salt. Sorry, my hands are so gross. I'm gonna grab this. You're just gonna do salt, pepper. It's one of those things that's your taste level. You already salted the chicken when you cook the chicken in the broth, and you already peppered it. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave it and not add right now. But again, if you love the taste of rosemary and thyme, add that in. It's all good. Whatever you have in your fridge, you want to just get rid of, dump it in the pot. And I mean, if it has mold on it, I suppose that would not be good. Don't use mold. But I would not do, I haven't really tried fruit like apples and stuff like that, but I'm not sure about that one. But like, let's say you go to the grocery store and you know how sometimes you'll get like fresh beets like I had, or you'll get fresh, I'm trying to think of another green, like turnips or anything like that that have green on the end. It's kind of like, what do you do with that, right? Oh my gosh, easy. Just cut it off, save it actually, put it in the freezer or put it in the fridge. They last a long time. Put them in a container, and then use them for when you make your stock or when you make your bone broth, okay? So really, really great tip with that one. You can obviously cook and eat those greens, but a lot of people, it's just not something they want to do, and they don't want it to go to waste. So that's what they do. Instapot. I love this sucker. Amen. Who out there has an Instapot? I'm betting there's people out there that do. Again, pressure cooker and a crock pot all in one, and I love it. I got the biggest one I could get, all right? All you're going to do is put this on, and I'm going to pray that it goes on good for me, because sometimes it can be a little temperamental. Put it on, twist it, make sure it's sealed. And this is literally what I do is I cook it for about, normally when you are cooking a broth, the whole point of bone broth is it's long, extended cooking time. You could put it in a crock pot, actually, and cook it for about 18 hours. Makes your house smell, and my kids hate the smell of it. They love the taste, but they hate the smell. So this is one of the reasons I switched over to doing my bone broth in my Instapot, is because it contains the smell a little bit more, and it's faster. So I actually cook this in about 3 to 4 hours as opposed to the 18 hours that it takes. And it does do a really great job. The slow cook on the stovetop is, of course, usually the best, but this does the trick just fine, okay? So all I'm gonna do, I don't know how many of you are familiar with Instapot. You literally, it'll have the off button, okay? And then you're gonna do this manually, because you know, you just are. So you just hit manual, and then you just adjust to how long you want it to cook for, okay? I'm gonna actually go the other direction, because I'm gonna do it the longest. I'm looking to see what it gets where I want. It'll go the opposite way. La, 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 la. There, I'm gonna do it for that, and then that's all you have to do. Walk away. And then what'll happen is it'll build up heat in it. It's pressurizing the cavity in here, and it'll seal off. Okay, it's as simple as that. And then once you'll see it go to L, there'll be an L in the front, and it'll start counting down, and that's really slowly releasing the pressure within the Instapot. Okay, so don't try and take it off right away, because you'll see there'll be a little ball up here that's up to the top. And once the ball drops down, you can open it. You can depressurize this ahead of time, but it is a spray. It's like you're gonna have steam, and it's kind of dangerous actually. You want to be really careful, to be honest, if you try and vent it or release it beforehand. You can do it, but you just want to stand back and all that kind of thing. I'm trying to think of anything else with this. Easy to clean. It has a removable thing on the inside. And what I'll do is I'm going to try my best tomorrow to show you what do you do after. Basically, all I'm going to do is after this is done, I strain it and then I put it in the fridge, because you want to strain it. You know, you don't want that stuff floating around in your broth. And then put it in the fridge. So I'll show you kind of the finished product yesterday really quick. I should have time. If not, I'll at least put pictures up. But that's really all you do. You just put it in the refrigerator, you skim off the fat, that's it. And then you can freeze it, you can put it in Ziplocs and freeze it, or just use it that day. Like 9 times out of 10, you guys, I'm using it that day for a soup. Most of the time, not all the time. So that's just a little bit. Does anybody have any questions really quick about how to use this, where to get this, how to make broth? You know, you could do this with turkey too. I have a friend that cannot eat chicken, has an allergy to chicken, so she has turkey broth instead. So you can do it that way. You can make beef broth. It's just that one's just a little bit more tedious to me. So I just love our good old bone broth. So that's it. Anybody have any questions? I'll kind of wait just a quick second. Really quickly. And I'll continue shredding my chicken up here, I guess, as I talk. But I don't think anybody does. Okay, so I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. And again, I'm going to try my best to go ahead and do a real quick video tomorrow to show you the after. And then also, as always, you guys, be sure and make sure you're on my mailing list and be sure to be part of my community so that you can get the firsthand knowledge from me and firsthand announcements about upcoming events. I'm going to have a cooking class coming really soon. It's going to be able to be a live cooking class, so I'm super excited about that. But I need you on my list. I need you to be on my list. So be sure and you can go to my website and get my list that way, or I'm going to go ahead and put a link at the bottom of this that you can just go right to, and you'll actually get a free guide as well to my real food lunch guide for kids. Okay? So you guys have an absolute fantastic week, rest of your week, and we'll talk to you soon.